into these football scores from yesterday.
Pretty good.
And then we will talk about some of these games. We're gonna definitely talk some Eagles.
Yeah.
And we're gonna run from there. We got some things to talk about with the Eagles. And people, I know it's only game one.
Yep. Relax.
I know it's only one weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But you definitely saw some things that will definitely need to be worked at. And coming up, the next game too is a tough game.
Oh yeah.
Tough test at home, the home opener. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. So giving you scores for week one, going back to Thursday, September the 3rd. Yeah, Buffalo and the Rams. The Bills take that beat up on the world champs 31-10. We move into yesterday's games. New Orleans at Atlanta. New Orleans takes that game 27-26. San Francisco at Chicago.
Oh Lord.
San Francisco falls in that game 19-10.
In the rain.
So while we're there, and we got Frank here as a 49ers fan, let's talk a little bit. And I know he was tuned in the last couple of weeks.
Right.
And I talked a little bit about the situation with Trey Lance, and apparently there's a lot going on there with that organization and with Trey Lance. They are apparently somewhat now unsure of their decision to hand over the keys to him, and thus they created a major problem for themselves. And what I think that problem is or will be is what happens if things continue the way they are, he doesn't progress.
Right.
And you gave Jimmy G permission to seek a trade or whatever. Apparently that didn't happen. You bring him back as like arguably one of, if not the highest paid backup in the NFL.
Yep.
So you've got two quarterbacks who could have their egos shattered in one way or another, dealing with that organization. So, and what I mean by that is, and the young guy Trey Lance was given the keys to the bus.
Right.
If he doesn't pan out, and it's hard to tell
I think he will.
how or when it might. And again, it's only week one. I'm just backtracking on what's been put out about the discussions and the conversations about Trey Lance going into the season. So depending on what happens and how it goes, you could, as an organization, they could really, really damage this young man's ego by pulling him, let's say, week 4, somewhere between week 4 and 6. Then you look on the other side and you look at Jimmy G, and now being the backup, and let's just say, playing devil's advocate, God forbid it does happen, but if it does happen, he ends up being back in the starting lineup. How does he take that? Does he take it as I should have been here anyway, you shouldn't have never moved me, or does he take it and use it as fuel to show that he should have, so it's a lot of ways that it could go.
You try to know that?
I'm just confused as to how, which way it's going to go.
Well, this is what I heard. So, I won't be too long on the topic. Kyle Shanahan said that the only way Jimmy G gets in there, unless he, 1 or 2, stinks up so bad, really, or he gets hurt. And he said they both get along. It's a win-win situation. Not just Kyle Shanahan. A lot of analysts say it's a win-win situation. Whatever. So it's not a bad thing. And so here's the thing, real quick. He said you cannot put Jimmy G in there and then go back to the young guy because after that they try to get rid of him. Now he's going to be a backup.
That's exactly what I said. So you got a major problem.
But some people you cannot do that.
Like they trying to, from what you just said, like it seems like they trying to downplay it
Yeah.
But you can't downplay it because the problem is there.
Three picks for him.
The problem is
unless
there.
he just stinks it up so bad, they're gonna have to go to Jimmy G.
And part of that equation, part of their problem is, like I said, where they're trying to downplay a little bit with what they're saying, where they're saying, "Oh, I can't take him out and put Jimmy G and then put him back in."
Right.
But everything, all preseason leading up to this, reflected all of the uncertainty of whether he is the guy, whether he's actually ready.
We still don't know yet. We still don't
know. The other side of that again is they made that decision.
Yes. And
now they're kind of like second guessing themselves.
Not yet.
Well, they are. They haven't been doing it all preseason. I mean, I know it's only week one.
It's only week one.
It was raining and all that kind of jazz, whatever. But all preseason long, they've been alluding to the fact that we're not 100% sure. We might have made a mistake by giving this kid the keys this soon.
I was ball was here.
It is, it's one of those things where it could happen to any team.
What week? You don't know because you're not a Lions fan.
Know.
Though but if the Baldy was saying,
all I'm saying is,
what week will know.
All I'm saying is that's the problem that they created. That at some point they're going to have to face this problem.
They said unless Kyle Shanahan lying. He said he talked with both of them. They really like each other. It's a win-win for everything.
It's not about them liking each other.
Fact.
None of that has to do anything to do with it.
Yeah.
The situation is the problem that they created for themselves.
Right.
Within that organization. They did it. It's not like they were pressured by media or anything like that. They decided that they got to that Super Bowl. Jimmy G didn't do it.
He wasn't enough.
And they decided they gave up those picks.
Three picks.
And they figured, all right, look, we got to give this kid a shot, see where he's at. But again, like I said, all preseason, it was all the talk. It was organization, coaches and all that. It was media where they analyzed them. But it was still some people in the organization too, where they analyzed them and they said that they're not liking what they're seeing right now. And I'm not saying that it can't happen a different way, it can't improve, and none of that. I'm just saying the picture that they painted for themselves is a problem that they are going to run into at some point in the season.
I think it's a win-win for us.
Because, for one, you don't know if or when he's going to stink it up, if he does stink it up, or what happens in the season. You don't know how the first half of the season is going to go,
8 weeks,
depending on where they are in the playoff race or in the division race, things of that nature. So it's always going to be in the back of their head all season long. Damn it, maybe we shouldn't have gave him the keys yet.
Some people said that.
Or maybe,
but
then the whole equation is maybe we shouldn't have gave him the keys yet.
Quick question.
Then it's maybe
it's too soon.
Then it's like, we don't know if we can really put Jimmy back in there. And this is the problem that y'all created. That's all I'm saying.
Quick. I don't know
that's all I'm saying
it was in the past.
Y'all create the 49ers organization created this problem that they're going to have to deal with. Is all I'm saying.
Quick question, and I don't know what athlete it was. I've been with you. You're my partner for like 3 years. Athlete, how do an athlete who's going to learn until you gotta throw him in the fire? You gotta throw him in the fire.
Like you missing my whole point. I'm not saying that that's not what you need. Yes, you definitely have to play to get the experience. But what I'm saying is, outside of just playing the football games, y'all have a problem that was created within that organization. And like I said, it's going to be faced at some point in that season. We just don't know when.
That's the media. That's their job.
We just don't know when. It's not the media. It was. I don't have all them notes with me, but I gave you all them notes.
Them California fans.
But I presented all those notes about.
I followed my team. I got
stats.
I followed.
But the thing I'm pointing out is, and I'm not knocking the kids.
That's cool.
I'm pointing out.
I like
the stats, and they say numbers don't lie. So the stats have them second guessing themselves about making this decision right now.
That's quarterback position. When he win or lose, he gonna get the heat.
But
they don't care.
But that's not my point. My point is, my point again is, they are not 100% sure they made the right decision right now. That's my point.
If he would do 14 TDs, they would have won. We think they would have still
still
price so. You're right. They price so. Did we make the right mistake? Right.
That's another aspect. Yeah, if he
Give him 10
had done
weeks.
that, yeah, it would have been probably different.
Because he only threw 375 passes since high school.
What I'm saying
Right.
all I'm saying is there is an issue there that's going to have to be faced at some point during the season.
A couple times, yeah.
And
no way.
I don't feel like it's a win-win.
They said it
for that particular team, for those particular players. And I get the fact, yeah, they can be cool, they can talk to each other, whatever it is. All right, that's fine and well.
Right.
But the bigger issue is you have a team and you have aspirations for playoffs and championships.
Yeah.
And now you made this decision.
Right.
And now you're giving off every impression that you're second guessing your decision.
Right.
Poses a lot of questions.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. Poses a lot of questions.
They said the team like both of them.
And it poses that threat that if it comes to the point, will they pull the gun and make a switch? Will they ride it out? Or what will they do? Is the biggest question. And it's a big decision because, like I said, you don't know if or when it's going to. Well, you don't know when it's going to happen because we know it's going to happen because of the way they've responded to everything going into the regular season.
Right.
And then on top of it, you take a loss, arguably to a team that you should have beaten.
Facts. Should have beaten.
So it's making that decision look.
It's week 1, D.
But I'm just saying, I know it's week 1, but we going through the whole thing, the whole gamut of what I've been saying about the issue that they have.
Right.
Now it's making them look like, again, even more
Kyle Shanahan,
they having second thoughts.
Well, here's
like,
the thing.
Now, well, not so much they haven't said. Now it's really looking like all through the beginning of the preseason they were thinking maybe we made a wrong decision, yada yada yada. And again, it's only week 1, but you look at week 1 and now it's like, maybe they did make the wrong decision. But we won't know that in week 1. There's no way to know that in week 1.
They crush Seattle next week, and they're going to be like, oh, wow.
Nate, we are definitely talking about Trey Lance and the 49ers and that quarterback situation with Jimmy G. But you'll never find that out in week 1. That's not going to happen in week 1.
Probably ain't going to find out in week 4 or 5.
I'm just saying that, all I'm saying is that it's not the usual problem that teams have, where it's not solely the media saying this and this and this. It's the media and it's the organization that are having second thoughts. And the thing that I'm saying is it's an issue. And it's a self-made issue. So it's not like it's the media painting that picture for all the fans and all that. It's a self-made issue because they made a decision. And then they went and gauged numbers and things in the preseason. And then they started second-guessing that decision.
See, before we move on, can I, real quick, give me like 60 seconds. Let me tell you my analyzation. I feel as though what's going to happen and why they made that move. Jimmy G took them to the Super Bowl. Jimmy G almost took them to a second Super Bowl. Kyle Shanahan said on numerous occasions, and John Lynch, Jimmy, the team loves Jimmy. But Jimmy, for some reason, he could not take him over the hunt for us. He always keeps throwing interceptions at the wrong time. And they feel as though they need like a Patrick Mahomes to get that first down. Don't just run every time.
Not Patrick Mahomes.
No, I'm just using him as an example.
Yeah, but he's not there yet.
No, of course he's not there. We don't never. He probably will never be Patrick. My point is, they feel as though it was something missing there, missing. That's why they moved up in the draft.
So what was missing?
Jimmy G's keep throwing interceptions. He can't move.
What was missing?
He's like a statue. He cannot move.
Okay.
He makes good. He's a good starter. He has a good record.
Now Nate Phillips just said that he feels like they're going to go back to Jimmy G by week 9 when playoffs and everything start. Implications.
Probably so. Maybe not.
But so
due to injury, probably.
What was missing? What was missing?
His decision making sometimes sucks.
Okay,
all he said all the time, and I was defending the man all the time. I love Jimmy G.
And I give you that.
Use your feet. It's like a Steve Young. Don't run like Michael Vick. Use your feet to get out. Jimmy G couldn't do that though, D.
But okay,
extend plays.
And I know it's only week 1, but we just talking about players in general.
Yes.
These two players. How much does it change now with Trey Lance?
We don't know.
Doesn't have the experience.
We don't know. Somebody said that in a social media question. Yes.
You just said it changed, but how much does it change now? So basically, you still in the same boat, whether it's Jimmy G.
We don't know that. It's week 1.
Right, but all I'm saying
it's
is
a mystery. We don't know yet.
Right, and this is what I'm saying. You keep us alluding back. Same thing I keep saying. That's the problem that they created now.
It could be a good problem.
It could be, but
it could be a good problem. Like when y'all won the Super Bowl, with Nick Foles and
but what if it's
Wentz.
not?
Huh?
That's a different situation.
Yeah, true.
It's a different situation because at that particular time, Nick Foles had already had experience. Nick Foles had started games prior to that season,
and they both wasn't scrambling quarterbacks. Well, Carson Wentz was. Yeah.
Carson Wentz wasn't really a scrambler. He was mobile. He couldn't move.
That's what we want.
But Nick Foles had the experience. That's where the difference is.
Right.
You went from your starter, who had a little bit of experience, but was starting to show flashes of being your franchise quarterback until things happened, whatever.
Yeah.
And Carson Wentz, because Carson Wentz was arguably that season. Carson Wentz was arguably the MVP of that season.
He was.
He was arguably the MVP, and he got hurt. But then you bring in Nick Foles, who knows the system, who has had experience. He came in and did what he did, carried the rest of the way, and won the chip.
Mm-hmm.
The difference I'm saying is, you said it was they wanted to change, they wanted a difference with Jimmy G's decision making. You can't really say, and I know you can't really say now that there's any change.
Real quick, Kyle Shanahan said he feels that he opened the playbook more.
But you still, like I said, with the lack of
with
experience,
the RPOs and stuff.
But you still can't say that there's much of a change as far as
what
you said.
The
interceptions, the decision making.
Right.
You can't really say
we
that
don't know
yet.
We don't know.
You can't say that yet. You can't say that yet because you don't know.
Right.
But
I think he's gonna be a monster. Not Patrick Mahomes monster. I think. Put it this way, D. And that Kittle, he didn't play this last week. You got Debo. He has a lot of playmakers around him.
It's the same.
Be the point guard. Be the point guard. Don't mess the cake up.
If you can't get it to them,
facts. The line.
Then there's a big problem.
Right.
It's a big issue.
Yeah.
Like you look at the Eagles and people talk about Jalen Hurts, how he can't throw the ball. He did pretty good yesterday. I mean, I look for improvements. But the one. That long 54-yarder he threw to A.J. Brown was right on the money.
Yeah,
and we'll talk about that a little bit later. Yeah. The line is arguably one of, if not the best lines in professional football.
Yeah, they say he's running too much.
Well, Detroit, the way they came at that game, they put the blitzes on, so he had to get away.
Right.
Nate has a question. Do you think Dallas will panic and trade for Jimmy G while Dak is out? No. Because that's not what... that's not what Jerry Jones does.
Jerry Jones won't do that. I'll tell you that in a minute, 30 seconds. No, he's not going to do that.
He's not going to do that. I don't believe. Again, like I said, that's not what Jerry Jones does.
Right.
I think they're going to try and ride the wave, which, in my opinion, is a bad decision.
They're done.
Because you try and ride the wave with an unknown.
Who's that
back there? I don't even know the guy's name.
They done. Y'all
got
the
you throw an unknown in there.
Yeah.
And then you figure 6 to 8 weeks, let's say,
10.
for Dak to come back.
Probably 10.
So arguably, in reality,
10 weeks.
that's like 10, 11 weeks. So you're looking at coming back like week 15.
How many times y'all playing?
Of the season.
Y'all playing at least once?
We play him twice. So that's
no, I know you playing
15.
Twice. But like, that span Tommy out. Do y'all play him? That's done.
And if they go to 15, it might be both games. I got to look at the scheduling. But if it goes to coming back week 15, it might be both the games.
I got it.
But you bring in a virtual unknown.
It's throwing too.
You already got holes on your offensive line.
Tackle going.
Your wide receiving core is basically depleted. You're down to CeeDee Lamb.
Mm-hmm.
And now people will load the box on Ezekiel Elliott and Pollard and make this quarterback throw the ball to virtually unknown receivers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be tough. And I'm not sure, and I really don't believe that Jerry Jones is going to issue and make a trade for Jimmy G. Moving on with the rest of the scores, Pittsburgh and Cincinnati in overtime. Pittsburgh takes that 23-20. New England falls to Miami 20-7.
Yeah,
Baltimore gets up on the Jets 24-9. Jacksonville falls to Washington 28-22. Cleveland gets by Carolina 26-24. Indy and Houston in week 1 a tie in overtime 20-20. Philadelphia gets by Detroit 38-35. The Giants edge out the Titans 21-20.
That's a shocker right there.
Minnesota gets up on Green Bay 23-7.
Right.
Kansas City demolishes Arizona 44-21.
Right.
Las Vegas, the Raiders fall to the Chargers 24-19. And in the nightcap last night, Sunday Night Football, Tampa Bay outlasted Cowboys 19-3.
Real quick. tonight, if Seattle, which I think they are going to get blown out or lose, the NFC West will be 0-1 for all teams. So
why do you think they're going to get blown out?
Well, Russell Wilson, Judy's in my fantasy league. But you know what? I'll take that back. They're home, the 12th man, whatever. They'll probably give them a game.
Why do you think they're going to get blown out?
Because they're a better team. Denver's a better team.
But why do you think they're going to get blown out? What reasons do you have? You can't just say because they're a better team.
Yeah, they're a better team. They got Seattle. All they got is DK Metcalf.
Okay, but they got defense too.
Who Seattle?
Yeah, Seattle still has an okay defense.
Yeah, they have the 12th man that loud.
They still have an okay defense.
Think so?
It's not the defense of old.
Right.
But it's not like a pushover defense.
I'll be very surprised that game.
It's not a pushover defense.
By the third quarter, it'll be double-digit leads.
I don't hear much about Denver's defense. Is not all that great.
I heard their defense is pretty good. The top 10 in the league. Coming in, projected,
right? Still got to play the game.
They got playmakers all over that field.
I don't see a blowout.
They edge rushers. They got 2 edge rushers.
I picked Denver to win, but I don't see it. I can't see it being a blowout.
True, because it's week one.
I'm not going to see it being a blowout.
Right.
Because
I said 30-10.
Geno Smith.
You like him?
Will not really, but for that team, Geno Smith will manage the game. It's going to be up to DK Metcalf and that defense to keep them in the game and possibly win that game from if they have a chance to win.
Because Russell Wilson, he wants to be on that game bad.
You know, you can't. I can't see.
You know why I want to lose.
I can't see that being like a definitely.
Well, because I know next week
Nate Phillips said he predicting an upset. Seattle beats Denver 27-21.
He's wrong.
It could happen. And Seattle's at home, so it could happen.
You're right. You're right. It probably will be a good game, but anyway, I'll be very surprised.
You know, like I said, I picked Denver to win, but you know, it could happen.
Right.
So let's talk a little bit of this Eagles game.
Okay.
Eagles outlast the Lions 38-35.
I got away with that one.
They did not cover the spread.
Nope.
The spread came down. It started out at 6.5. By game time, came down to 5, I believe.
Right.
Not too bad of a game as far as numbers wise for Jalen Hurts. 18 of 32, 243 yards.
Right.
7.6 yard average per pass. No TDs. Throwing, no interceptions. Again, like I said, good, pretty decent game numbers wise.
Right.
But I saw some things that I felt like will need to be adjusted.
Run defense, man.
I saw some things on the offense,
right,
where the play development and the play calling, in my opinion, was a little bit suspect.
Right.
Like it has been. I think they decided to adjust with A.J. Brown a little bit
he had a monster
at the
game.
Wrong moment, although he did have a monster game.
He had a monster game.
I just felt like...
Good move.
I felt like they should have exploited that a little bit more than what they did. He was targeted 13 times. He had 10 receptions for 155 yards. His longest was the long bomb for 54 yards.
He's a monster.
And on that 54 yards, if 2 guys had not caught him, he would have possibly arguably touched him.
Jeffries had the best week, though, Dave. Jeffries had a monster game, too, for Minnesota. Whew.
Yeah, Nate, I know everybody's still working out. Yeah, you know, it's only 1 week.
Oh, you're not a fan?
I don't know what fan he is, but he's just saying it's week 1.
He said, I don't know.
But he just said it's week 1 and everybody's still working out stuff. I totally agree with that. That's why I'm going through this and I'm saying there are things that I see that that will need to be tweaked and will need to be worked on.
Yeah.
Again, but like I said, numbers wise, not bad of a game from Jalen Hurts. He didn't throw for any touchdowns.
Oh, he didn't throw any touchdowns?
All their touchdowns were rushing touchdowns.
I thought he threw a couple touchdowns.
No, all 4 of their touchdowns were rushing touchdowns.
Well, he got something.
But you know, I think it's going to come. Like I said, you look at, like Nate said, it's week 1.
Pump the brakes, man. Come on.
Okay, he's a diehard Philly fan through and through, so I'm cool with that.
Boo.
One of the things you also have to look at in week 1 is the fact that a lot of the number ones didn't play a lot in preseason.
Oh yeah, I'm about to say 1.
And then you know preseason is cut down now to 3 games.
Yeah, instead of 4.
So you have teams like the Eagles that have new pieces, and we see how spectacular Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown can be.
Right.
He did get some passes to Dallas Goedert as well.
Okay,
Didn't really
like
get
that.
much. Let me see, who was it? Devontae Smith didn't have any catches yesterday. He was targeted only 4 times.
How about Sanders?
Didn't have any catches. But again, like I said, the offense, I think they came out the opposite way of what I felt they should have come out.
Right.
I felt like Detroit and that defense was going to try and make a point early, so I felt like they should have tried to run the ball early.
It's getting you in trouble a little bit.
As they did, because you run the ball early and you consistently try to run the ball when you got a team that's blitzing and applying that pressure. It automatically, when you start running the ball, it automatically relinquishes some of that pressure.
Yes, it
where
does.
they have to back it up and be calculated with that pressure.
And
that secondary is not all that great. I think it would have helped them a little bit more if they had done it that way, as opposed to coming out trying to throw the ball early. So that's one thing that I think can be tough. The rushing game was okay. You had Sanders with 13 attempts for 96 yards.
Yeah.
Hurts ran the ball a little bit too much for me yesterday, 17 attempts for 90 yards.
Wow.
Kenneth Gainwell and Boston Scott came in and did their jobs. Again, like we said, the receiving, we know A.J. Brown, we saw everything yesterday, or almost everything yesterday. We saw the possibilities yesterday, rather. Dallas Goedert in the mix. He only had 3 receptions, but there were 3 receptions for 60 yards. A couple of the running backs. Gainwell had 2 receptions for 12 yards. Sanders 2 receptions for 9 yards. So on the defensive side of the ball,
a lot of points.
They gave up a lot of points. They gave up a lot of yards rushing as well.
Right.
And they still outrushed the Detroit line. Detroit gave up 181 yards. The Eagles gave up 181 yards rushing to the Lions.
Right.
But those were just big gashes. It wasn't a lot of runs. It were big gashes. And the Eagles' total rushing yards was 216 for the day, giving them a total yards for the game, total offense 455 to total offensive yards for the Lions at 386.
Lions at 386?
Total yards offense, 386. But, you know, the defense, you can also
your strength is in the line.
Play into the fact that, and I'm not making excuses, I'm just looking at coaches and what I saw yesterday.
Right.
They had a running back coach, a position coach, who was a position coach for the Philadelphia Eagles. So he faced that defense every day.
Right.
And since Deuce has been here and gone,
I love you.
There hasn't been a really influx of change in that defensive front. So the familiarity is there. It was well planned out. And if you don't know what I'm saying, you can go back and watch the highlights and they talked about it the entire game, where they were precise in their running plays and their running backs were precise in executing those running plays, where they hit the hole, then they made a cut to the hash, and then the second cut was out to the numbers and outside. And that worked very well for them. So I think what needs to be done is they have to adjust that.
Right.
They've got to be prepared for that. On that, it was on the left side of the offensive line, so it's on the right side of the defense. But I'm sure they'll adjust to that, because you saw the signs of when they had the stops. And it was a nice little stretch where they went 3 and out consistently. The Lions did, until late in the game, when it gave me the feel that the Eagles were a little bit too comfortable. And they had to also, and you had to remember, this is also an NFL team. Although we've been beating them up and down the field in that section, it's still an NFL team.
Yeah.
Their object is to try and score points, and they'll do it whatever way they can, because you got to keep playing.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be adjusted, definitely. I think they'll definitely get to
Kirk Cousins like throwing seconds.
They'll think,
I like
so again, like I said, it wasn't a bad performance. Wasn't a great performance.
How you feel about
it? Wasn't the performance that a lot of Eagles fans expected.
Right.
Giving up 35 points.
Are you nervous going forward there?
Wasn't. No, I'm not nervous.
About anything about them?
I can't say I'm nervous. I said I see some things that I see that can be tweaked.
Right. Week 1.
but I'm not nervous because even with the way, the way yesterday's game played out on both sides of the ball, you saw a lot of things. And in my opinion, I think you saw just a smidget more good things than you did the bad things, if you want to go that route and call them bad things. And I'll just say things that need to be tweaked.
Right.
You saw the impact or the possible impact of the additions. C.J. Jones-Gardner, the safety. You saw the impact of Hassan Reddick. You saw the impact of Kaiser White. You definitely saw the impact of A.J. Brown.
Yes, he's a monster. He's a beast. I like A.J. Brown. That was a good pickup.
Once
upgraded. Good.
Once this thing comes together, you see how scary at times the Eagles could end up being.
Yeah.
If it comes together completely sooner than people think, they could arguably be a serious threat in the NFC.
You think so?
But it's got to come together.
Right.
Like I said, it's got to come together.
That. So you're not delusional. Some of these fans.
I'm definitely not.
We're going to the ball.
It's got to come together. And like I said, I saw some things that I liked in Jalen Hurts and improvements in the passing game.
Yeah, true.
And I saw some things that I didn't like.
Right.
And some of them were actually kind of like, I don't like the way he got rid of that ball, but I like the fact that he did get rid of it. And some of those things I said were some of those plays where he just kind of flipped it out of bounds and running out of bounds. I like the fact that he was being a quarterback, aware enough to get outside the pocket and get rid of the ball.
And run for extra yards.
I didn't like the way he got rid of the ball.
You got to prove that.
If you understand.
He threw a pick? Did he throw a pick?
He didn't throw any picks.
That's good.
But the way he would run, some couple times he just kind of flipped the ball away. I want you to throw it. If you want to throw it away, throw it away.
Right.
You know, that's what I need you to do. But like I said, that's burning that candle on each end. I liked to see him rolling out and getting rid of the ball, not taking those extra hits. I also like the fact that when he did run, in moments he did slide, except for that second week in a row, second time this season, once in preseason and once in regular season so far, where it was a late hit.
I saw that play.
But I did like the fact that he was sliding and he was getting out of bounds.
Right.
But I don't like the fact that some of those passes that he threw away, the way he threw them away.
Right.
So it's still a learning process for a running quarterback. But I am glad to see that he does have the inclination to slide when he needs to slide.
Right.
I think also what needs to happen, again, and I'm going back to what I've said for the last couple years, I think the play calling needs to be adjusted. Dan? I think they need to run the ball first.
First?
Yeah, I think they need to run the ball first.
No play action.
Well, play action still, but you still got to run. I think they were the best running team going into the end of last season, going into the playoffs anyway.
True.
And again, like I said, you did get enough. They had 216 yards rushing total.
Very bad.
Miles Sanders has broken into the end zone already.
I like Miles Sanders.
So I think and I feel like you need to run the ball with your running backs more.
Yeah, to keep the pressure off of Hurts.
But not so much you keep the pressure off of Hurts. That opens up all of these runs that he had early in the game.
Yeah.
This opens these up for later in the game. Yeah. And if you think about it, you look at yesterday's game, let's just say they had run the ball first, starting out initially, and you take away those runs from Jalen Hurts early in the game, and then you look at how that game played out going down the stretch, late third quarter, early middle fourth quarter. That's where now you have key on those runs, because now play action becomes more of a factor, more of a threat. And then you can even put in more RPOs because now you have a quarterback that can run. And now you've got running backs that have been gashing possibly this defense. So now you got the defense guessing. Then when it comes to it, then they can't really put that much pressure in the box. Or if they do put that pressure in the box, or those 8, 9 guys in the box, now you got one-on-one coverage with AJ Brown and Devontae Smith.
And then you got Goddard.
And then you still got Goddard, who's arguably going to be on a safety.
He's very underrated, D.
And it's going to make it harder for teams to double team, because I think that's what happened with Devontae Smith yesterday. I think teams shaded over him
Why you go down more? He's a speedster.
Because I think teams shaded over him.
He's a problem. And what's wrong with that?
Then they had to adjust and start shading over.
We got one too.
AJ Brown.
Yeah,
but you know, I think the Eagles need to run the ball.
Fact.
Starting out in those games, and then like I said, that opens up those gashing runs that Jalen Hurts had would have easily stretched out. Right. Would have easily stretched out the game. Well, lessened the game, and it would have stretched out wins. What it would have took time off the clock.
It's gonna be a good game against Minnesota, though.
You looked at it. You look back at it. You look at those gashes. If those gashes had come later in the game,
right,
they wouldn't have scored. Even with them gashing the Eagles in the run game, they wouldn't have gotten to 35 points because they wouldn't have had the ball. You're running the ball and the time. So they would have been pressing. Then they would have been put into a position where they would have had to throw the ball and not run the ball as much as they did and get those gashes.
Right.
So I think, you know, I believe
a game next week.
I believe there are going to be some things that are going to be adjusted that were seen by the Eagles coaching staff that will be adjusted.
Jeffries is a monster.
I also think that from a player standpoint, the defense, knowing or believing that I know who they are, will look at the tape and realize that, we got to get a little bit more stout. We got to do some things a little different.
Teams, man.
You know, the secondary, I think, played a pretty good game yesterday, except for that one that Jared Goff dropped into that one receiver over Darius Slay late in the game.
Yeah.
Number 14, I can't pronounce his name. I forget his name, but Saint something. To him, he that was a nicely placed ball. And again, I'm still not sold on Jared Goff, and it showed yesterday.
You pick on him all the time, man.
I'm not picking on him, but
right. If you go back, you went to the Rams.
If you go back and you look at that game yesterday, you can understand what I'm talking about. He had some shine. He had some moments.
He's not a great quarterback,
but he's not a great quarterback.
Somebody scares me like a week.
So overall, I think the secondary played good.
Yeah.
Bradbury got the pick 6, so that's only going to boost his confidence. I think Darius Slay's going to come in next week with a chip on the shoulder for getting burnt for that touchdown.
Kirk Cousins always
Epps is getting better day by day, and the great addition of Gardner Johnson, CJ, who played pretty good yesterday. So I think, it's like I said, the secondary played pretty good. I think the linebacking core played pretty good.
How's the rookie linebacker from Georgia? I like him. How do you play?
I didn't see him a lot yesterday.
He's a good player, man. Why you have to keep him in there?
I think he'll get his chance.
Yeah,
definitely.
From Georgia, he's good. I like that pick.
But I also think that the defensive front will
carry the team,
come out with a different mind frame in week 2.
That monster guy.
I think they're going to come out and try to prove a point early, and let people know or make a statement that last week was just week 1 and they got up on us. But we made the adjustments as good teams do. We'll make the adjustments and we'll be better. And I think that's going to happen for the Eagles. I definitely want them to be definitely in tune with what's going on. I definitely want them to be in tune because they do have 2 good receivers and a solid running back. The question mark for me, once again, is the quarterback in Kirk Cousins, who does at times and has at times been known to throw games away, throw interceptions at crucial moments and give games away. So, people will probably going in and seeing what they did to Green Bay yesterday. People will probably say, "Oh, well, the Eagles better outcharge. They did this, they did that."
You know why?
Let's see.
Green Bay,
with all that they did against Green Bay, they scored 23 points. Green Bay only scored 7.
Bay don't got Adams no more.
But Green Bay is not
the
Green Bay of the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, they don't got Adams.
They don't have any known wideouts.
They defense.
So it was a touch easier for Minnesota's defense with these inexperienced guys, because I think Aaron Rodgers got sacked a little bit more than the average yesterday.
I saw that.
And you know, they've got some issues with the offensive line, but it's just the fact that he has these inexperienced wide receivers, and timing, different types of plays are going to be off, and that gives an advantage to a lot of defenses. So, you know, we'll see what happens in that game. And like I said, as an offense, they only scored 23 points. You know, I'm not, again, just like not with Jared Goff, I'm not totally, completely sold on Kirk Cousins as well. I think the Eagles can get to Kirk Cousins. Again, I also think that the Eagles front four are going to come in with a different mindset and wanting to just let people know, just remind people of who they are. Not just, you know, that last week, you know, they got gashed a little bit in certain runs. I'll admit that, you know. And again, like I said, I think they'll own that, and I think they'll be better next week with that. So you got tonight closing out week 1, Denver versus Seattle. In my picks, I picked Denver in that game. So that's where I'm going to stay. I'm going to stay with Denver. I'm not going to sway my decision. Frank initially said he thought it was going to be a blowout. I don't think it's going to be a blowout.
Not blowout, but I think about 20, at least about 20.
I don't think it's going to be that much.
12, probably 12.
I think, I can't say it's going to be close, but I think on the side of Seattle, it's going to be a lot more emotional, because Russell Wilson is coming back, but the emotional side for me is going to be the fact that they're home.
12 man.
And not even the 12th man, they're going to want to have a good showing against their former quarterback, because we honestly don't know the full extent of what went on with that situation with Russell Wilson being traded or whatever. But, you know, I think it's going to be a little bit more emotional because of the home field for
I need
Seattle.
Judy to play good ball, man.
So I'm still going with Denver in that game, like I said, because the quarterback position is better on the Denver side of the ball. Some of the skill positions outside of DK Metcalf are an advantage to
he's gonna ball
Denver. But again, like I said, I think the emotional aspect of the game is going to weigh.
In the game a little bit.
It's going to weigh a little bit more for
Seattle
as opposed to it being against them. I think
27-10
for them. So, with that being said, folks, before I get into these, I'm gonna give you some schedules for Major League Baseball. Update you on the WNBA schedule, and then we'll get into our picks for NFL Week 2.
Yes, sir.
But before I do that, I do have an announcement to make. September 17th, this coming Saturday, at the Chase Fieldhouse in Delaware, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania versus Portugal. Some fights are going down in the Chase Center. Should be some really good fights. Ironically, I know 2 fighters on the card, or one of my guy, Ivan Mighty Robinson's fighters, Jalik. I don't remember his last name, but he'll be fighting. Also, my guy, Milton Jeremias, will be fighting on that card. So tickets are general admission of $30 tickets in advance. You can get your tickets on Eventbrite. Also, if you want VIP tickets, you have a table, you want to be a vendor or anything like that, message me here, SportsRap Podcast, the group page, or on Instagram, because I'm going to post this stuff later today when I get off air. On Instagram at SportsRap_D. And I will point you in the direction of my guy who can get you set up with all of that VIP stuff. Joe Richmond, my guy, will get you hooked up. So get at me, and I will get you all the information. You can get VIP seating, or if you are a vendor, you want to do some vending there, sell some stuff there, I can point you definitely in the right direction. And again, like I said, shout outs to my guy, Joe Richmond, aka Coach Joe, aka the ambassador of basketball for your Delaware Blue Coats, who can get you hooked up with that. And again, Milton Jeremias and Jalik, 2 fighters that I am familiar with that will be fighting on that card. I will be in the building, somewhere in the building, so if you catch me, you see me doing some stuff, some filming and things like that, come say hi to me, say what's going on, and, you know, holler at me for a second. Also, this Thursday, We're back at the Drake Tavern.
Yep.
About 6:30 p.m. We'll get you ready for Thursday night football, week 2 of the NFL, and we'll talk whatever comes up, whatever stories come up between now and Thursday. We'll definitely bring them to you as well. And then there's another thing. We might have a surprise for you next Monday, but keep that on the back burner. I got to get more information on that. But again, this Saturday, September 17th, some fights down at the Chase Fieldhouse. Like I said, message me at SportsRap Podcast here on Facebook, or at SportsRap_D on Instagram, and I'll get you all the information on that. And like I said, I will definitely post the information for that event when I get off air later today. So your schedule for Monday baseball: the Rangers are at the Marlins, the Angels are at the Guardians, the Astros and the Tigers, Pirates and the Reds, the Rays and the Blue Jays, the Cubs and the Mets, the Rangers and the Marlins, Dodgers, D-backs, and Braves, Giants. That is your schedule for Monday night baseball. WNBA Finals Game 2 coming up on Tuesday. The Sun and the Aces. Right now, currently, the Aces are up 1-0 in that. Tonight, closing out Week 1, Monday Night Football, Denver Broncos are in Seattle to take on the Seattle Seahawks.
That's Russell Wilson.
Coming up now, Week 2 picks.
Yes, sir.
Like I said, Thursday, and Thursday we'll be at the Drake Tavern.
It's a good game.
For this Thursday game, we got the Chargers at the Chiefs.
I'm going with the Chargers upset.
I'm going with the Chiefs at home and Arrowhead.
Upset.
I don't know what Frank. I mean, I like Kansas. I like LA, the Chargers.
Their defense.
But what I saw yesterday, and I know it was Arizona, but what I saw yesterday, I'm going with the Chiefs at home.
I'm going with the Chargers. Chargers will win an overtime game.
I'm going with the Chiefs at home.
I'm going with the Chargers.
Moving on to next Sunday, September the 18th.
Jets in Cleveland.
The Jets at Cleveland. I'm going with Cleveland at home.
I'll probably go with Cleveland.
Let me see here. Washington at Detroit.
I got the Lions.
Going with Washington.
Detroit's
on the road.
Man.
Going with Washington on the road. Tampa Bay at New Orleans.
Got the Saints.
Going with Tampa Bay.
Saints on them.
Carolina and the Giants.
I'm going with the Giants.
I'm going with Carolina. New England at Pittsburgh.
I got the Steelers.
I'm going with the Steelers there too. There was an injury to Mac Jones. Not sure how serious it is, but he did have a back injury
Pittsburgh
yesterday.
got injury too. What's your call?
Indianapolis at Jacksonville.
Got the Colts.
Coming off a tie, I'm going with the old guy Matt Ryan and the Colts. Miami at Baltimore.
I'm going with Mr. Jackson, Action Jackson.
I'm actually going to go with Miami on the road there. The Rams are home against the Atlanta Falcons.
I hate that.
I'm going with the Rams there. Seattle goes into the Bay and takes on the 49ers.
We're going to spank them. San Fran. Come on,
it's a tough one here for me.
Please, they don't got nobody.
It's a tough one here.
They always play us tough, though.
Like I said,
it's a division game. Yeah,
uncertainty at both quarterbacks.
Kittle come back, man.
Still, quarterbacks got to move the ball.
Our defense
I'm
is too much
stretching
for
here.
them.
I'm gonna go with San Francisco at home.
Yeah.
Cincinnati at Dallas. Injuries there. I'm going with Cincy to bounce back.
Denver.
Houston at Denver. Going with Denver at home. Arizona at Las Vegas.
I'm on the Raiders.
I'm gonna take the Raiders at home.
Yeah.
Chicago at Green Bay.
This is a tricky game right here, Dave.
I'm gonna go with Chicago on the road.
You know, I hate to say it, but I think the Bears gonna beat them.
Next Monday, 2 Monday night games.
Buffalo.
Tennessee at Buffalo. I'm going with Buffalo at home.
They got 2 Monday
and
games?
I'm going with the Eagles at home on the second
Don't let
Monday
me down, man.
night game.
I got y'all too.
Folks, again, thank you all, as always, for tuning in to another great episode of the SportsRap Podcast right here on Heat 100 Radio. You know where to find me. SportsRap Podcast is the group page right here on Facebook. At SportsRap_D on Instagram and Twitter. The webpage, SportsRapRadio.com. YouTube, SportsRap TV. And all of the audio you can get on iHeart, Spotify, Apple, Google, and most of your podcast outlets. Don't forget, folks, this Thursday at the Drake Tavern, we will get you ready for the Chargers and the Kansas City Chiefs that night. So make sure you come on out, hang out with us a little bit, talk some sports with us, have a drink or two, chit chat about the game. We can even talk some Eagle stuff if you like, or whatever you want to talk about with us. Just come on and pop over to us, say hi, ask us any questions if you want, and we'll answer the questions as we always do. Folks, be great on purpose.
Right.
Enjoy both versions of sunshine. We got some sunshine, a little bit of sun peeking out right now.
Right.
It's going to get a little cloudy later, so we might get some liquid sunshine a little bit
Right.
later. Enjoy the day to kick off your week.
Right.
You know, again, like I always say, be great on purpose. Catch us Thursday at the Drake Tavern. Make sure you are tuned in all week long, because there might be another announcement about Monday, September the 19th. Got to do some more logistics on that, but I will definitely give you information
tuning in, y'all.
In enough time to be prepared for that. Thank you as always for tuning in, and we will see you all on Thursday at the Drake Tavern, all week on social media, and right back here next week, next Monday. Schedule for week 2 will go up tomorrow, Wednesday at the latest. And as we always do here before I close out, as we always do here at SportsRap, there may be something in it for you. So if you want to get in on this, I know we've already done week 1. Like I said, week 2 schedule will be going up tomorrow, Wednesday at the latest. Right. You need to get your picks in by 4 p.m. on Thursday. And please, please go in order of the schedule, as it will be easier for us to track the wins and losses for each participant. So with that being said, folks, enjoy your Monday. We'll see you on Thursday, live on location, and right back here Monday, SportsRap, Heat 100 Radio. Peace.